I never imagined my college years would turn into a real-life thriller, complete with betrayal, secret plots, and a revenge arc that could rival any Hollywood script. But here we are, and trust me, every word is true. It all began in my sophomore year at a mid-sized state university, where tuition was high and scholarships were my lifeline. I was desperately searching for a roommate to split the rent on a crappy off-campus apartment that smelled faintly of old pizza and desperation. The place was a two-bedroom dump with peeling wallpaper and a kitchen that hadn't seen a deep clean since the 90s. I posted an ad on the university's online forum, detailing my need for someone reliable, clean, and preferably not a party animal. That's how I met Derek. He responded within hours, sounding enthusiastic and normal in his message. He seemed perfect at first, clean-cut, with a confident smile from what he described as a wealthy family back in the suburbs. His dad owned a successful tech consulting business, he said, and Derek always talked about it like it was his future inheritance. We hit it off during the roommate interview at a campus coffee shop. He even bought me a latte and joked about how we'd be bros for life while bonding over our shared major in business. Little did I know, that casual meeting was the start of my personal nightmare, one that would test my limits and change me forever. Move-in day was chaotic, with boxes piled high everywhere, and us laughing awkwardly about our mismatched furniture styles. Derek's stuff was all high-end, a plush leather couch that looked brand new, a massive flat-screen TV, and even some designer lamps that screamed money. Mine, on the other hand, was mostly thrift store finds and hand-me-downs from family functional, but nothing fancy. I was on a full academic scholarship, scraping by with 2 part-time jobs, one at the campus library shelving books till midnight, and another delivering food on weekends. Derek? He never seemed to worry about money. He'd flash his credit card for everything, from groceries to late-night Uber rides. At first, everything was fine. We'd stay up late gaming on his console, order greasy pizza, and share stories about our high school days' typical college roommate bonding. But then I started noticing little things that set off quiet alarms in my head. Like how he'd borrow my laptop without asking, claiming his was glitching, or how he'd glance over my shoulder a bit too long when I was paying bills online or entering personal info. I brushed it off at the time. Roommates share space, right? No big deal, I told myself. Then came the first real red flag, one that hit me like a cold shower. I got a weird email from a credit card company I didn't recognize, congratulating me on my new platinum account with a high limit. I thought it was spam or a phishing attempt, so I deleted it without a second thought. A week later, another email arrived, this time about a personal loan approval for $5,000, deposited straight into an account I didn't own. My heart sank as I stared at the screen. I hadn't applied for anything. My finances were too tight for that kind of risk. Panic rising, I logged into my online credit report, fingers trembling on the keyboard. And boom, my one solid credit score had plummeted from 750 to a dismal 570 overnight, like a punch to the gut. There were hard inquiries everywhere, multiple credit cards, several personal loans, even a lease for a luxury car I could never afford. All of it in my name using my full social security number and personal details. I felt sick to my stomach, the room spinning as the reality hit me. How could this happen? Who had access to my info? My mind raced to Derek. He was the only one close enough. I confronted him that evening when he sauntered in from class, plopping down on the couch with his usual carefree grin. I shoved the printed credit report in his face, demanding if he knew anything about it. He paused for a split second, his eyes widening slightly, then burst out laughing like it was the funniest joke. "Dude, chill out," he said casually, waving it off. "It's probably just a mix-up with the credit bureaus." But his eyes darted away nervously, avoiding mine, and I knew deep down he was lying. I pressed him harder, my voice rising with anger and fear. Finally, after a tense standoff, he admitted it with a shrug. "Yeah, okay, I might have used your info for a couple of things," he confessed, as if it were no big deal. A couple? The total was already over $20,000 in fraudulent charges and loans. He explained that his parents had temporarily cut him off after a bad semester, and he needed cash quick to maintain his lifestyle. Promised he'd pay it all back soon, said his dad's high-powered lawyer would make it disappear like magic. I was furious, my hands shaking as I yelled about how this could ruin my future scholarships, jobs, everything. But what could I do right then? Call the cops on my own roommate and risk eviction or worse? I demanded he fix it immediately or I'd report him to the authorities. He just smirked, leaning back with arrogance. Go ahead, but good luck proving it wasn't you. My family has connections. That night, I couldn't sleep a wink, tossing and turning as the betrayal burned deep in my chest like acid. The trust was shattered. This guy I'd called a friend had stabbed me in the back for his own convenience. I started researching identity theft laws online, poring over forums and legal sites till dawn. It was complicated proving it, freezing accounts, disputing charges, but I knew I had to act. Meanwhile, the debt kept piling up mysteriously. Another $10,000 in charges appeared on my report within days. Derek, oblivious or uncaring, was living it up, buying new designer clothes, throwing parties at bars, even booking a spontaneous weekend trip to Vegas with friends. All on what I now knew was my stolen credit. The stress was eating me alive. My grades started slipping and I called out sick from work more than once. I decided on a risky strategy. Play along, pretend I forgave him to buy time. Over breakfast the next morning, I forced a smile and said, "Totally understand, man. Family stuff sucks. Let's just move past it." He bought it hook, line, and sinker, even slapping me on the back and inviting me back to our gaming nights. But inside, I was already plotting my revenge, a cold determination settling in. First things first, I secured my own information, changed all my passwords, set up two-factor authentication everywhere, and froze my credit reports with all 3 bureaus. Then I started observing him more closely, like a detective in my own home. Noticed how careless he was, leaving his phone unlocked on the coffee table, his wallet out in the open. One fateful night, while he was in the shower belting out off-key songs, I seized the opportunity. I grabbed his phone quickly, my heart pounding, and downloaded a cheap $30 cloning app I'd researched. In minutes, I mirrored everything to an old tablet I kept hidden in my room: his emails, bank apps, social media accounts. Even better, I gained access to his family's trust fund portal. His dad had foolishly given him partial admin rights. It was a jackpot of information, a digital treasure trove that made my pulse race with possibilities. But I didn't act impulsively. I waited patiently, gathering more intel over quiet evenings. Learned intimate details about his dad's company, a mid-sized tech firm specializing in software consulting, with generous employee perks and annual bonuses. Derek had a linked family allowance account that received automatic deposits. Over the next few weeks, I monitored his reckless spending patterns through the clone. Impulse buys, gambling apps, expensive dates. Meanwhile, my own life was suffering. Debt collectors began calling nonstop, harassing me at work and home. I had to explain the situation to my worried parents over a tearful phone call. It was utterly humiliating. They urged me to go straight to the police, but I held off, whispering that I wanted more than justice. I wanted him to feel the pain. Phase 1 of my plan: rebuild trust to lower his guard. I helped him with homework assignments he was failing, covered a work shift when he was hungover from partying. Became the reliable roommate again, earning his casual confidences. He started opening up more about his family's wealth, bragging about hidden offshore accounts set up for tax advantages. The idiot was basically handing me the keys to his kingdom without realizing it. Phase 2: the slow, methodical drain. Using the clone phone from a secure spot in my room, I logged into his personal bank app carefully. Started small to test the waters, a $50 transfer to an anonymous burner account I'd set up offshore. No alerts triggered, no questions from him. Emboldened, I escalated. $100, then $200, funneling it discreetly to chip away at my mounting stolen debts. But I got even bolder as confidence grew. I discovered the trust fund's discretionary spending feature buried in the settings. I set up recurring monthly deposits of $5,000 to an account I controlled, labeling them innocuously as investment contributions. His dad wouldn't notice. The fund was massive, millions deep from years of business success. Over the following 6 months, as we navigated the rest of the semester, I amassed over $30,000 this way. Used every penny to clear the remaining fraudulent debt in my name, breathing easier for the first time in ages. But revenge wasn't complete. I craved more, a total reversal. Derek graduated a semester ahead of me, landing a cushy entry-level job at his dad's company through blatant nepotism. He moved out shortly after, but not before throwing an epic going-away party that absolutely trashed our apartment. Broken glasses, stains everywhere. He left me stuck with the cleaning bill and security deposit deductions, laughing it off as college memories. That final insult fueled the raging fire inside me. With him gone and the apartment to myself, I had uninterrupted time to execute the big nuclear play. I still had all his credentials active through the clone, updating as needed. I accessed his dad's business email via a linked family account I'd discovered. There, I found details on a family bonus pool, undistributed funds earmarked for relatives, sitting idle. In a bold move, I redirected a whopping $150,000 from it to a brand new LLC. The LLC? Cleverly registered in Derek's full name, but with my home address and sole control vested in me. Then, the sweet cherry on top of this revenge sundae. One applied for several high-limit credit cards in Derek's name using his info. Got them approved easily, thanks to his family's clean history. Maxed them out strategically on volatile investments tied directly to my own anonymous portfolio. Stocks, crypto, high-risk options. When those investments tanked on purpose, thanks to my time sells, the massive debt was all his to bear. But the eventual gains from rebounds? They flowed straight back to me, clean and untraceable. The fallout started unfolding slowly, like a beautifully orchestrated symphony of chaos. Derek tried buying his first post-grad condo in the city, application denied flat out due to his now ruined credit. He called me in a panic one evening. "Man, my credit's completely wrecked." Any idea why this is happening? I played dumb masterfully. "Whoa, that's weird. Maybe you got hit by identity theft." "Sucks, bro." He laughed it off nervously at first, blaming a glitch. Then, his brand new leased sports car got repossessed right from the company parking lot. Turns out I'd overlooked a few payments on a duplicate lease in his name. Humiliation peaked when his dad confronted him angrily about the missing trust fund money during a family dinner. Derek denied everything vehemently, but the digital logs I'd manipulated showed his exact IP address and device fingerprints. I'd used a sophisticated VPN to mimic his old apartment Wi-Fi setup perfectly. The family, convinced of his guilt, cut him off completely. No more allowance, no job perks, nothing. Last I heard through mutual friends, Derek was crashing on various couches, scraping by with a dead-end retail job at a mall. He even tried suing his own family for the missing funds, but all evidence pointed to self-sabotage, tanking his case. Meanwhile, I graduated debt-free, my record spotless after disputes. With the redirected funds, I bought a modest but cozy house in a quiet suburb, far from campus memories. Started my own small consulting business, leveraging skills I'd honed in secret. Life's incredibly good now, stable, prosperous, and free. One random day, he messaged me out of the blue on LinkedIn, his profile photo showing a defeated man. "If this was you somehow, why? How?" I couldn't resist replying with a single photo, my new home office overlooking a sunny backyard, coffee in hand. Caption: "Roommates share everything, right? Thanks for the starter capital." Then I blocked him forever, closing that chapter. The moral of this insane story? Don't ever mess with someone's future. They might just rebuild theirs on the ruins of yours. If this tale of pro-revenge hooked you and left you wanting more, smash that subscribe button right now. Tomorrow's story is even darker, a haunted hospital shift with twists that'll chill your bones to the core. Stay addicted, story fiends. See you then.